Welcome to Threads of Sustainability. I'm your host, Bridget O'Flaherty. With climate change and environmental impacts becoming a common narrative in our daily lives, it seems like a great time to explore what sustainability looks like in the quilting, fiber, and textile world. We'll hear from creatives, makers, manufacturers, and producers from all over the world to discover what sustainability looks like to them and find out how they're contributing to a sustainable future. We will celebrate positive steps people are taking, no matter how small. Whether you're a hobbyist or a pro, you can bring sustainability into your practice. Join me as we take a deep dive into the environmental, social, and economic impacts with Threads of Sustainability. Hi, Dara Tomasson. It is so nice to have you here with me today. I'm really excited to talk with you. I want you to introduce yourself, but I'm going to just tell my folks a little bit about you. I'm talking to Dara about things that are maybe we wouldn't necessarily associate with sustainability in quilting, but we had this really great conversation a couple of days ago where we realized that we've got a lot of synergies between what we do with our groups of people we talk to, and we really wanted to share each other's stories a little bit more. And so you help quilters lose weight and find sustainable practices for that to happen for them. So That just seemed like such a great conversation to have. And I was really excited to bring you on here. So I'm going to let you do a little bit more of introducing and tell us a little bit more about yourself.
For sure. All right. So yes, I'm Dara Tomasson. I live in Nanaimo, Vancouver Island, and I have 5 children. I have 5 kids. My youngest is 10 and my oldest is 19. And I was a school teacher for 10 years. And then I've been a mom and I started professionally quilting for people and teaching quilting. So I've taught across Canada. Free motion quilting is totally my jam. I have 3 published books. I just totally love it. I quilted for people for 5 years and just had a lot of fun with that. And as I was building my business, I actually found a life coach who helped me with a bunch of stuff. And one of them was weight loss. And as I started losing weight, I started becoming more myself. I stopped hiding behind all these excuses of like, oh, I couldn't do that. I have 5 kids. How can I write a book? How can I, do all these different things? And as I started like finding my excuses and like resolving them, I really started creating the life that I wanted. And I actually lost 50 pounds, a little bit over 50 pounds, and I've kept it off for 3 years. It's so much fun. And so I have a YouTube channel and women were seeing me shrink on the YouTube channel. They're like, what's happening? Why are you losing all this weight? Like, what's going on? How can I do that too? So I actually accidentally became a weight loss coach because that was never anything I had intended to do. I love the quilting industry. I love teaching quilting. I love empowering women. But the more that I was able to share with them the things that I was doing and I saw them having success, I decided to go full in on the weight loss for quilters because I was seeing like one of my very first client, she just won 4 ribbons in a quilt show and she was able to do these talks and she was so confident. Her life has changed so much. And I just think the ripple effects of weight loss are so profound that this is what I do now. And the way I teach weight loss is very much what you do, Bridget. It's very sustainable. We don't count calories. We're never going to do something to get us to a journey and then change it all. I didn't even want to know about micros and macros. I didn't want to even know about counting calories because I knew for sure that was not something I was going to do forever. Why would I do that?
And so you've now got this really connected community that you're talking with all the time.
So I have, so I started out with just one-on-one coaching, having, these clients for 6 months and walking them through my process. And then I did small groups where I would help them over 3 months and teach them how to lose 20 pounds in 90 days. And then now I have a lifetime membership. So you pay once and you're in for life. And we have a private Facebook group. We have 3 coaching calls a week. You have access to all my training videos, all my worksheets, like my process of how I take people through, like how do you lose your first 20 pounds in 90 days? And then you just keep going. So that is now what I have, which I'm really thrilled about. And these women are just crushing it. It's really, really fun to watch.
Well, and what an amazing thing, right? To be able to instill that confidence in in women who are at a certain stage in their life where we have this imposter syndrome that kind of creeps in, and we have a lot of self-doubt. We've been these caregivers, and for some of us, those are our roles. And now we have this opportunity to just be, I see your sign behind you, be selfish and not feel badly about having self-care. And what an amazing gift to be able to kind of allow people the space to do that. I think that's a
and
really
most of my
thing.
ladies are between 50 and 85.
Okay.
So, and I the other thing, Bridget, that's really frustrating to me, and I like fell into this trap. In fact, before I met my life coach, I literally was doing the math. I'm like, okay, I'm going to gain 3 pounds a year, 3 to 5 pounds a year for the rest of my life.
Right.
Because I'm going into menopause and I haven't got this figured out, and I have bursitis. I can't run. I can't do what I used to do. And I look at my family history. I look at my grandmas, they were overweight. So I just was like, I guess this is my lot in life. I guess I don't have any choices, right? Like, it's such a disservice to women. And I, like you said, caregiver. I mean, I raised 5 children. I'm still raising 5 children. I'm still cooking pancakes and on all the things, and like running everywhere after school, right? On Saturday, I had 6 basketball games in one day. And that's
a lot.
It is a lot. It's the stage of my life. And after school, it's like, okay, we've got all these different kids doing all different things. And so I needed to create weight loss that didn't rely on exercise, didn't rely on any of those things, so that I could have a sustainable practice that actually felt like love and felt like it was something that was very doable. And it was customizable to me and all my clients. Like, I have ladies who are losing 80 pounds. I don't know what they eat. I don't know when they eat. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, cause I teach them the foundation, the principles, and I help them see their mind of what's going on. And I help them really learn those tools so that they can make it unique to themselves.
Yeah. So it's all about that education and that self-education really for you, so that they can move forward with having sustainable long-term practices that make them into the person that they want to be.
Well, it's kind of like quilting. Yeah. Like quilting, like quarter-inch seam. Like, like there's just some really basic foundational principles of quilting, and you and I and everyone can make whatever quilt we want. We can use any color combination.
Nice.
We can do whatever we want because we have this foundation. It's the same thing.
Yeah. And so you mentioned you have core principles that you talk about. So can you tell us about those core principles?
Yeah, for sure. So I actually have 5, I call them the 5 vital steps to permanent weight loss. Sounds very fancy, but the first one is weight loss science is simple. And so a lot of us are confused about, what actually is, like, what are the things? And really there's just 3 hormones that have to be balanced to have weight loss. So that's number 1. Number 2 is I teach you how to create your own eating plan, which I call a protocol. And then you learn how to troubleshoot it. And then number 3 is you are able to articulate and feel all your feelings. Because so many of the problems we have is we hide, we don't want to feel things. It feels really scary. So I actually teach you how and a lot of women don't even know what they're feeling. They don't know how to articulate. I don't know if I'm sad, I'm depressed. I don't know. So we really work on feeling our feelings, processing them. And then number 4, we learn how to take responsibility for ourselves. And so that's really hard because a lot of us are like people pleasers and procrastinators and perfectionists. We don't really know how to take responsibility for the life that we have. So we abdicate a lot of that to other people, which of course, then we eat a lot of food because we feel like resentment and all of that. So number 4 is taking responsibility for your life.
Yeah.
And then number 5 is I teach you how to build self-confidence. So those are my 5 core principles. And then all of the modules, there's 12 modules. And so I break it down even more. And then they learn those tools. And then during the coaching calls, the main tool I have is called the model, and it shows us our thoughts, and every thought we have has an accompanying emotion. That emotion then leads us to our actions, and our actions are what give us our result. So I help you slow down all of that and see like all these unconscious patterns that keep coming up. You're like, how did I lose? I mean, how did I gain 10 pounds? Because you have these unconscious things that you're doing, these habits that have you eating chocolate. And you don't even realize you're eating it until afterwards. So I teach you how to like figure out the unconscious thoughts. And then that leads you to kind of figuring out why you're doing that. And then I teach you how to consciously decide ahead of time what you're going to do. And so it really takes you to being like responsible for everything that you do.
That's amazing. Yeah. It seems like it's such an interesting, you're laying out a process for being successfully sustainable so that it's not a quick fix situation. And, we can look at the environment that same way through the same kind of lens, right? Like we can do the quick fixes where we just, we stop buying fabric or we just do those little things, but it's not actually, or one of us buys only organic fabric. It's not actually fixing the problem. The problem really starts back at the production level of things. And we've got this history to work with and try and move forward. We have consumerism around all of this as well, right? And you and I talked a little bit about this before, about what consumer habits actually prompt us to make ourselves feel better by buying things or by eating things. As quilters, we've got these, new fabric lines are always coming out, or the new pattern, and they get kitted out and it looks so lovely. And it's our passion and our hobbies. And we feel really good about buying those things. And then it sits in the cupboard for a long time. Yeah. So, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, we have, so at the beginning of every call, we always do 3 celebrations, because one of the things that I teach them is really learning how to create the joy inside of us. When you learn how to celebrate yourself, you're becoming independently. So I talk about the opposite of selfish in the way that the world looks at it is I actually teach you how to be independently happy, and which is super fun. But one of the clients yesterday, she's like, Dara is ruining me. She was telling her, like, so there's the 2 ladies in my group that are friends. And the one lady saw this other lady having so much success. So she joined our program. I think the program is she's at like 25 pounds in like 3.5 months or something. It's so fun. And so she's on this road trip with her husband, and she called her friend to tell the celebration. She's like, Dara is ruining me. We have driven past like 5 quilt shops and I haven't wanted to go in any of them because she knows that she has enough fabric at home. She doesn't need to go to them anymore. And she is like just enjoying being with her husband. He just retired. She's enjoying the time that they have together, and she's not needing to have to buffer or to overconsume to have that joy. She's just enjoying them like herself.
Yeah. Which is amazing, because we do that to ourselves. We buy these fabrics and then we suffer the guilt of not getting to the project that
100%.
we've had to have it. And so we have this storage there. I was like, oh, we should be getting to that. And I'm not going to do another project until I do that. So I think we need to kind of just pause sometimes. And the, the foundations you're laying there are helping to let that ripple effect to understand how to reflect on what you've got going on in your own stuff, your own quilting world and your own practice. I think it's some really interesting synergies here. I think it's great.
It is. It's so fun because one of the things that I teach too is how you do one thing is how you do all things. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's really helpful for all of us to look at, because like overconsumption, you're trying to, when you're over-consuming food or over-consuming fabric, it's because you are like a hole. Like I think of it as like a bucket that has a hole in it. Mm-hmm. And you keep trying to fill that bucket with like helping other people, which is nothing's wrong with helping other people. Obviously, like I help people all day long, but for trying to like fill your own bucket, outside of yourself. Like if you don't believe that, like someone says like, you're beautiful, but you don't believe them, it's not going to make a difference. Yeah. And so if you can't learn how to fill yourself properly, you're just constantly doing all these actions and you're never being truly filled. And that's what I teach them. I think that's truly fill your own bucket.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I really, really like this. If you were to offer one piece of advice for somebody who is battling and trying to figure out how to consume less, in terms of food, but also in their lives, what is one self-care tip that you would offer for them to start this journey?
Yeah. Okay. So that's I have like so many different ideas, but I think we need to start slowing down and recognizing what we like about ourselves. I understand it's a big commitment to like join my program. It's $2,000. You pay once. It's kind of like, I kind of describe it as a trip to Mexico, like all inclusive. You pay once and you never have to pay again. And it's a lifetime membership. But I get that it's stressful to invest in yourself when you've invested so much before. But so I do these master courses and they're $11. And so you can kind of experience. And the next master class that I'm teaching is in June. You can always buy them. They're like $59. I have lots like procrastination, all sorts of things. But this one I'm doing is called Breaking Up with Food and having to find your own joy. And there's a lot of codependent, like you have become codependent on food for happiness. You depend on the food to your little tiny bit of happiness at the end of the day or during the day. That's why you have chocolate with you. It's like kind of like sustains you over the day. Yeah. You're like, I don't know if I can do this day. I need some chocolate. Right.
Yeah.
And I found this, it's a great book by Melody Beattie. She talks about codependent no more. And so this dependency, like people pleasers and like that is one of the ways that we learned as a child to cope with life. That's why perfectionism is also a coping strategy and procrastination is also a coping strategy. So I actually talk about that as the triple P in my program. But I love this quote by Agnes Repler. And she said, "It is not easy to find happiness in ourselves, and it is not possible to find it elsewhere." And too many women have relied on willpower because we've been taught, right? Like if you want to do anything, it has to be hard. Yeah. I think that's why quilting has been so fun because it's just gives us permission to play again. Yeah. And we can just like be those little girls and just enjoy it. But I do find that women like justify buying fabric. Anyways, that's a whole other story. But so what I've found way too often with women with weight loss is they're like, okay, I'm going to like grind it out. I'm going to use a lot of willpower. I'm going to be very punitive to myself, but it's going to be worth it. Because once I get to that number on the scale, or if I can wear that black dress, or if I can wear those pants, then I'll be happy. Right. And the problem is that is not sustainable. And that will not, once that number is on the scale, or once you can wear that black dress, you have a human brain that is going to still be offering you doubt and troubles and difficulty. So when you can learn how to accept yourself right now, exactly as you are, and have compassion for yourself, then it's actually inevitable that the weight will just come off because you have so much compassion. You have so much love for yourself that you're like, you know what? I'm going to take care of you. Yeah. I'm going to like slow down. I'm going to listen to why you're sad. And it's okay that you're sad. And so that is why I call my women, I'm like, you ladies are the bravest women I know. Yeah. Because it's scary to go in your brain. It's scary to like deal with the way your mom talked to you. Yeah. In some ways, it's easier to blame her and not take responsibility for yourself. But when you can stop that blame and you can stop that shame cycle of like, I'm not good enough, and you can get out of that and be like, you know what? You start having compassion. Yeah. That's where we can actually start becoming independently happy. And that's what I would tell my lady. That's what I would tell everyone. Yeah. It's that just giving yourself permission. Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. So tell us where we can find you. Yeah. So my program's called Love Yourself Thin. Nice. Is that not brilliant or what? That's great. I know. I love it. So I'm on internet. So Dara Tomasson, and Tomasson is Icelandic and it's Tom ass on. So that's how you will remember it. I know. Perfect. I used to be a school teacher. So my students were like, you have the word ass in your name, Mrs. Tomasson. I'm like, I know. Now you will never forget how to spell my last name. There you go. So yeah, daratomasson.com, and you can come on a consult with me and talk to me all about, I love meeting with ladies. You can like a 20-minute conversation with me. I'm on Instagram, Dara_Tomasson. and we can connect there. I have my podcast is Weight Loss for Quilters, and it's a fantastic podcast where I teach those tools that I was talking to you about, Bridget.
Awesome.
And so you can binge watch or binge listen to the podcast. You can learn so much, but I invite you to come and have a 20-minute chat with me. And I really want to hear what's your story, because you would be surprised at how similar your story is to others. Of course, we're all unique, but that's one of the things that I was so surprised about with when you are weight loss with a group, you no longer feel alone, which is really wonderful.
That's so good. Yeah. Yeah, that's so good. Well, I can't thank you enough for being here and for this interesting conversation in kind of looking at sustainability in a really different way. But I would be remiss if I didn't ask, are you doing any quilting?
Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? Yes, I do quilting. So this is a funny story. I work full time in my business, and after school, like I told you, it's basketball and it's like all the things and grocery shopping and laundry and everything. But I make a practice of quilting at least once a week. And quite often it's a Saturday night.
Nice.
I have watched the kids, cheered the kids, done all that. And then I say, okay, guys, you can watch a show, and I'm going to go upstairs. I have a long arm, so nice. I just play. And a lot of times I'll just throw on I have lots of quilt tops that have not been quilted.
Yes.
Because I've had quilt fairies in the past that we do swaps. So they would piece for me and I would quilt. And so I'll just throw a quilt on and I'll just play. And right now I have a wedding to go to. And so I've actually made 2 quilts, not sure which one I'm going to give her. So I'm almost finished this one. It's a queen size. It's super, super fun. So nice. I make sure that quilting
You're still getting quilting time. Good.
Self-love and self-expression. And
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you for joining us today. This has been really, really great to talk with you.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. What a great story to hear. What a great conversation to have, and an interesting way to look at sustainability. It really starts with that individual. If we can find those ways to find sustainability in one part of our lives, I think that it bleeds into other parts of our lives, and it helps us to move forward with confidence in the other things that we're maybe wanting to do, and maybe take a look at that sustainability lens in a different way. And that is more holistic and is more organic, I guess, in a way. After Dara and I finished what we thought was our interview, of course, we continued talking, and this happens a lot when I'm talking with my guests. We finish our conversation from the interview, and then we start just casually talking. And my guests end up talking about really cool things. So I often will keep the recording going just in case I capture something interesting. And with Dara, I ended up capturing some really interesting stuff. She started showing me some of her quilts that she's working on. And so we're going to share that conversation with you now. So you're working on, these are just quilts you got that you're going to be talking about today?
Yeah. So today we're talking about comfort quilts.
Okay.
And so I have, so my grandma's father was a shepherd and sheep herder, and he had his own sheep that he brought from the States to Canada, and he was a ditch digger. So he dug, you could dig a certain amount of ditches and then you got a certain amount of land. So him and his brother did that. So this is a quilt that my uncle found in the Quonset. And so this is actually wool from my great grandfather's sheep, and my grandma made the bats. That was one of her jobs.
That's amazing.
So, and then she hand quilted this one. And then my other grandma, she would buy these, she was very utilitarian. And so she would buy these cheater tops, and she made like so many of these ones, and she hand quilted them when she was she lived in retirement. And then I was actually just gifted this one by a friend. Someone donated it to a garage sale. And these are traditional feed sacks.
Wow.
And I hadn't done the research on, I knew kind of the story of feed sacks, but Bridget, I just want to tell you, this is so cool. One of the reasons they did the feed sacks was the men who didn't have a lot of money, like the farmers, they didn't have a cart that they could bring the flour or the sugar or the salt. Okay. So one of the techniques to entice the farmer to buy it was that it was strong enough to strap on the back of his horse.
Oh, okay.
Know this. I was like, I didn't know this.
No, I didn't know that either.
They would be able to put that on the back of a horse and it could manage it. And this was back in like 1846, the seams were strong enough that they could throw them on the back. And you could make, with 3 sacks, you could make one lady's dress.
Okay.
So then, of course, the wife was like, you got to buy 3 of the same ones so that I could have my dress. It was like such amazing marketing.
No kidding.
And so that actually, the feed sacks even went up until World War II. And it started dying out after World War II because, of course, more women working in the factories and everything. Mm-hmm. And so in the 1960s, they tried to make like a comeback. And so they had like Cinderella prints and different, like more cartoony ones to kind of try to entice people to buy them. And it didn't quite have that same effect.
So you're going to be talking about like comfort quilts in your sessions today.
Yeah.
And so these kind of having these stories behind all of these quilts. And so are the other people that are going to be there, are they going to be bringing their own comfort quilts and bringing the stories with that as well?
And I think they're also going to bring in their comfort practices.
Okay.
So it's like Andrea Zhang Jackson, Cheryl Arkeson, Mary Elizabeth Kinch, Tamara. So they are either like quilt teachers or whatever. And so, we're going to be talking about comfort quilting. So I'm going to talk about comfort that I get from being around that. And also another one that I do is when I'm quilting, I'll have like extra, like I made the quilt for my friend. And this was a quilt of like a backing I got from Costco.
Okay.
And then I had this 33 inches left over. So I just threw on some fun, cute fabric and I just quilted it up. So I'll just put some binding on and then this will just be a charity quilt.
Nice.
So that just brings me comfort to know, like, have them ready. I'm also going to just talk about like that quilting is for our comfort and the compare and despair is a big problem. And just like being aware of why are you making something that brings you a lot of joy into like you're weaponizing it almost like right. I'm not as good as somebody else. So like just that danger of compare and despair. And it's going to give some tips on how you overcome that for yourself.
That's awesome.
And it also kind of goes along with like this, like creating that joy inside of you. It's like, this is something I love to do and just owning it and letting yourself just be like, just enjoying it and like quieting the doubt. Like it's normal to have doubt. Like I'm giving her this quilt and I put so much effort into it and I'm like, oh, I hope she likes it. And I'm just like, oh my heavens, like let that go. Like you're giving the gift, unconditional love. That's the other one I want to talk about.
Unconditional love. There you go.
Like, and when you can like be your healthiest version of yourself, not only do you have physical energy, but the biggest one is when you're spending all your time thinking about weight loss and thinking about all the negative things about yourself, you are no longer available to think about all the wonderful things. Yeah. And this is like something I talk about in my procrastination course. Our brain only has so much battery every day. And so I call it brain juice. And when you're constantly filling your brain with all the negative, you don't have any space for all the creative and all the wonderful.
Yeah, I agree. Dara and I ended our conversation fairly abruptly because she was heading off to go and do a recording with the other folks she was with that day. But it was such a great behind the scenes look into some of her quilts and some of the process and some of the things that she likes to talk about in her workshops and guest speaking that she does. Don't forget to check her out online. I'll put all of her links in the show notes. I want to put a big shout out to all of you who've been reaching out to me and telling me what you think about the podcast and sharing some ideas for guests for the future. I love hearing from you. If you're looking for ways to support the podcast, you can now do that through a donations button on my website at bridgetoflaherty.com. And you can buy me a cup of tea and help me support the podcast so that I can keep doing this. I love bringing these stories to you. If you're interested in a community that engages with sustainability in quilting and textiles, you can join the Learning Hub at bridgetoflaherty.com. There you will find memberships, online courses, supplies, and resources for sustainability and my textile art. You can also book me to speak with or teach your group. You can find me on social media at The Sustainable Quilter. Don't forget to comment, like, and share, and to follow me on your favorite podcast app so you won't miss an episode. Thanks for joining me, and I'm so excited to share this journey with you. Until next time, happy stitching.